Theorists Sandra Harding and Julia T. Wood developed the standpoint theory as a way to discover how the world works by gaining knowledge from marginalized groups within society. The standpoint theory states that different locations within the social hierarchy affect what is seen. The standpoint of marginalized people provide a less false view of the world than do the privileged perspectives from the powerful. Strong objectivity requires that scientific research start from the lives of women, the poor, the LGBT community, and racial minorities. The standpoint theory is built on local knowledge and strong objectivity. Local knowledge is situated in time, place, experience, and relative power, as opposed to knowledge from nowhere that's supposedly value-free. Though the idea of value-free knowledge is great in theory, all knowledge is situated knowledge, which will always be partial. However, local knowledge from marginalized groups is considered less partial and to have stronger objectivity. Some may wonder why the standpoint of marginalized groups are seen as more objective than dominant groups, and Wood offers two explanations for this. First, people with subordinate status have a greater motivation to understand the perspective of more powerful groups than vice versa. And second, marginalized groups that are constantly put down have little reason to defend the status quo. This can be seen in many pop culture examples. However, one example of the standpoint theory would be the movie The Help, which is based on the novel by Catherine Stockett. In this movie, set in the 1960s, main character Skeeter comes back from college and decides she wants to pursue a career as a writer. She turns to her small town to interview the black women who have spent their lives as the help for the privileged white families in her community. Though most housekeepers are hesitant to speak up, when Aibileen, a housekeeper of Skeeter's best friend's family, decides to speak up, others start to come forward with their stories. By the end of the movie, Skeeter has compiled enough stories to give a whole new perspective on their 1960s small town. By examining these poor African American women, the book ended up having a stronger objective view of the town. These stories from the lives of the people on the margins of society brought the wider power imbalances of the small town into question. It gave a more honest portrayal of the town. The standpoint theory is a critical theory that brings into question the larger power imbalances that favor certain communities within society. By examining our world through the eyes of marginalized individuals, these power imbalances are judged more objectively. Therefore, to better understand the world, it is essential to view society from the standpoint of marginalized individuals.